Hey, hey. I will give it a few to let some people come in, and then we'll do a recap on the latest on Nancy Guthrie. I didn't tell anybody I was coming on, so we will see. "6:03 in Los Angeles." That means it's 9:03 on the East Coast, so we will see. Hey, Rita. How are you? Thanks for coming. I'm just waiting for people to come in. I always say this on every episode that I don't want to make it long, and I really don't want to make it long tonight. Oh, hey, Kelly. Great, I have a mod in here. Hello, Kellyanne. So we have Kelly Ray and Kellyanne and Rita. Oh, thanks for those red hearts. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say tonight, but I really am going to keep this shorter. But I just don't want to let this case go. So I've got some notes again. I've just had a lot of other things to do today, and I took a bone pill yesterday, and bone pills I take once a week. They always make me feel like total crap the next day. So I'm just like, ugh, all day, like, ugh. It's very reminiscent of sort of having a chemo, but not as bad. It's always something. So I need the distraction tonight. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. 2 minutes into this, and I've got 3 people in here. 5 people. Let's get it up. Let's get some people in. I can introduce myself, and then I'll tell you the latest on Nancy Guthrie, day number 39. Yeah, we're already 4 days into week 6. Just doesn't even seem possible. Yeah, I hope people are not losing interest in the case. Or my YouTube just sucks. Which is it? Lots of people have been watching, though, and sending me comments, which I appreciate. That helps the video, helps the algorithm. People liking the video, or even disliking the video and sending me the comments. 7 people. Can we get it to 10 at least? My gosh. And I'm doing the vertical instead of the horizontal because YouTube likes that. Oh, thank you, Kellyanne. She says, "I love watching you. You're very caring." Well, I sure hope so. I'm trying to be fair here, you know? But I'm also watching some other YouTubers just to get their takes on it because everybody has a different background. I take them once a week, don't like how they make me feel. Well, misery loves company, Rita. Thanks for letting me know that. Kelly Ray says, "I wish my cat Linguini had thumbs. He loves listening to your stuff. He could help us jump your hours up." Yeah, get him his own username. Get him an iPad. Linguini, subscribe. Hey, 12 people. Okay, I guess I'm just going to start this. Oh, how did I lose 3 people in 2 seconds? Well, let's just get it going here. I'm April Davis, PI. I'm here in Los Angeles, California, licensed California private investigator, and I want to do a recap on what I've learned since yesterday regarding Nancy Guthrie, the missing persons case. Hi, Leanne. Hey, thanks for putting all those comments on my videos. It really helps. Thank you so much. Kelly Ray says Linguini started listening bits at a time. Now he sits on my lap during them. That's so sweet. You know, I had a chemo buddy that passed away, and her bunnies used to watch My Cat and Bunny on TV. Yeah, so sad. Okay, let's get back to this. You know, I told you the last 2 videos that I kind of went down the rabbit hole And a viewer that came in here on Sunday, I can't remember his name, I apologize. He suggested that I watch this channel called The Lifeboat. And the guy had 2 videos, part 1 and part 2. And it was regarding the fetish S cult. I hate to keep talking about this, but I finally watched part 2 last night. And even though this guy's on the opposite end of the spectrum as I am as far as his life, he's a reformed drug addict, reformed criminal, former bank robber, and he even admits, like, I'm not an investigator in any way, but he sees it from the criminal side, where I see it from the detective side. Okay, but it's good to get into a criminal's mind and how he thinks. And I'm not sure of the titles, but if you just look up The Lifeboat, he has a bunch of videos. He's unlike me. He's a professional YouTuber. He actually makes a living at it. And his brother's like in the background. His name is Tommy, and I think the brother's name is John. They seem like they're okay guys. If he's, reformed like he says, then more power to him, Not many people can do that. But he is very careful with his words, like I am careful with my words, that we're not pointing the finger at anybody. We're not calling anybody guilty. But there's nothing wrong with expressing opinions. The same with you guys in the chat. You can say whatever you want. Like, I think this person did it, or I think this person is of interest. And he seems to be leaning towards Tommaso, who he calls Tomato, which is kind of funny. Tommaso, tomato, tomato. It's pretty funny. But he's not calling him guilty. And I wouldn't either. When this first happened, I thought this is something connected to Savannah Guthrie. Or, I then thought this is connected to somebody close to her, like a family member, a friend, a neighbor, a worker at the house, someone at her church, because originally they said she was part of a church congregation. Well, apparently she's just part of an online church where she goes to a neighbor's house or a friend's house and she watches online. But somebody close who knows who she is, who knows that she has a famous, wealthy daughter. Then all these weird notes started coming in, these ransom notes demanding $6 billion in Bitcoin, and then the follow-up note saying, hey, I know who did it, and I want 1 Bitcoin to tell you who did it. Like, if you know who did it, why wouldn't you just go after the big reward? The reward is up to over $1 million. Why would you say, give me 1 Bitcoin and I'll tell you who did it? I mean, it's getting hokey. But I'm starting to look at other angles to this, because this guy went down the deep, dark rabbit hole. And I said last night, I don't want to keep pounding this into the ground, but he talked about the fetish S cult and all the players who are connected, including this, allegedly, this Mojito, who is Early Black's promoter. That's Tommaso's band. And he's also the promoter for Secret Mutilator. That's Derek Kayala's band. It's either Kalala or Kayaya. I don't know that Derek and Tommaso even know each other, but they both have the same promoter in Phoenix, even though Derek is in Los Angeles County. They've played some of the same venues. Apparently, they've played in some of these, they call them fetish balls. Like, the music is very, very dark. And he claimed that, Kayla Day is involved with this as far as being connected to this cult. I don't know if that's true. The woman, who we don't know her name, but she's referred to as the goth porn star that's out in front of Nancy's house, with her boyfriend or her partner, whoever he is. He's taking pictures of her, and she's barely dressed. She's got these big oversized boots on and, boobs hanging out and, tiny little shorts. And it's very disrespectful. And supposedly they're all involved in this group, and then it's come out about the Wiccans, the Wiccan religion, or the pagans, and the witches, and the full moon rituals and ceremonies. It's gross. No, it was 6 million in Bitcoin, not 6 billion. I might have mispronounced. I don't know. That was the original ransom demand, was 6 million in Bitcoin. But then there's these other notes that were sent to TMZ saying, hey, I know who did it, but I don't want to come forward. But if you give me 1 Bitcoin, which is now worth about 70,000, that I'll turn over the evidence. because I know where she is and, yada, yada, yada. I don't believe in any of these letters. But this guy, this rabbit hole I went down, he thinks like a criminal. I think like an investigator. And like me, though, he doesn't believe in coincidences, that all these people on paper, they're either connected or they're one degree of separation connected. And he says he sees it from a criminal standpoint. I see it from an investigative standpoint. I don't believe this is a legit kidnapping based on all the mess ups that have happened here and all the time that was spent in the house. But he kind of thinks maybe it was a kidnapping and they took her. Uh, Now, did they take her for ransom? Did they take her to kill her? I don't know, but maybe because they didn't take her meds and something went wrong, and medically she just wasn't strong enough to make it, and then the whole operation blew up. But he also says what I've thought all along, that we're only getting a small piece of the puzzle here. Like the puzzle's probably yay big, and we're getting this many pieces because I doubt the sheriff and the FBI are going to come public and state what they know. I think that the Guthrie family themselves, especially Savannah, I think she knows a lot more that's going on with this case, and she's been told not to say anything, and that's why all of her appearances on Instagram, whether she's by herself or she's with her siblings, it's all scripted because they know something and they don't want to spill it. That's my opinion. He didn't say that, but I'm saying that there's more to this, but we don't know. I mean, they said from the beginning that there appears to be a port of entry where forced entry, but yet the cops have never said where that was. They said the back door was found open when the sister and the brother-in-law went to look for her when she was reported missing by the church. That they found the back door wide open. The cops, they obviously saw blood. They called the homicide detectives right away. This was before they even considered a kidnapping. But they've never really said where the forced entry point was. It's obviously not the front door. The front door seems to be intact. I don't see any broken windows in the front. Hi, Mike. Thanks for coming in. Thank you, Kelly. So I started looking at some of these other channels, and I started doing research about these Wiccans and these witches and these ceremonies that happen on full moon. And I'm like, please don't tell me like that this could actually be a possibility. But there's other YouTubers now that are making videos about this. In fact, someone who made a video, which I have yet to see, I'll see it tonight. There's been someone that's been watching my channel, and she sent me a message last night. I also got an email, but I won't discuss emails on my channel live unless someone says, hey, I want you to read this out and I think it's appropriate. Anything you send me to the business address or to the email address, I don't discuss that here because that is private. But if you put something in the chat or you place something in the comments, then, I'm happy to go over it. And this person who goes by the username L Winner, like WINNER1, she had a little something to say. And if you guys are interested, I see Leanne said, oops. What was the oops for? What did I miss, Leanne? 16 people. Make sure everybody hits that thumbs up. Double tap the screen for the red hearts. It definitely helps the channel. Winner, chicken dinner. Yeah, so this is L Winner 1. And I see her avatar, so it's a woman. And that's all I can, see here. And she says, and I quote, watching. Have been following the Nancy story since day one. Doing my own research, and it is getting extremely dark the more I discover the crazy connections. I think she's meaning the connections that I've spoke of over the last two videos. Tommaso's band played at Club Congress 1 month after Derek's band. Mejito, the DJ, calls Kalala or Kayea Dad. Mejio created the Scorch Tucson Fetish Ball 6 days after Nancy's disappearance, where all the crazies, probably Luke and Kayla, she says in parentheses, gathered, including the two doing selfies at Nancy's house, so they're all connected. Now, the two doing selfies, that's the man and the woman who they described the woman as the goth porn star. I thought it odd that Annie referred to scorched earth in her note to her mom when that stupid fetish ball was also called scorched. I didn't know that. All of them seem hideously dark and obviously involved in witchcraft and the occult. Yikes. If Daly, I think she means Luke Daly, Kalala or Kayea and Mojito aren't involved with her disappearance, I'll eat my hat. Yes, that's what she said. I will eat my hat. I'll say it again. If Daly, Kalala, and Mojito aren't involved with her disappearance, I will eat my hat. It shouldn't be that hard to figure this out. Just follow the witchcraft cult trail. Why, when Savannah is writing books about God's love, did the other sister write about the good dark? There is no good dark, Annie girl. Jesus is the light of the world, and all who follows him walk in the light as he is the light. Poor little dear Nancy had more hideous darkness around her than she ever knew, or she would have never stayed alone. Now she quotes Matthew 10:28 says, "Do not be afraid of those who can kill the body but cannot kill the soul. Rather, fear God, who can destroy both soul and body in hell." I don't really believe in hell. If they took her life, she is with the Lord forever in endless joy, and those demonics will have to bow their arrogant knees at the feet of the King of Kings one day to face a judgment more terrorizing than anything they could have ever perpetrated upon her. I agree. Bad karma all the way. Why is the question for me, other than the love of money, which they never got, and the thrill of watching a saint suffer? This is my song for our dear Nancy. Love her heart. May God give Savannah and the family grace upon grace. And then she gives me a YouTube link to her channel, which is, it's called L Winter 1. Okay, it's the same name. And she has a video that I will see later tonight called Hope for Nancy. So I look forward to watching that. So thank you, L Winter, for that comment. What have I been up to? Just the Nancy Guthrie case, Mike. Yeah. And then there's other people that have commented on the same video. One comment is from a Cindy who says the whole family and friends are shady. I do pray Nancy is found. Yeah, me too. I just thought I would read that out loud. Like I said, I did get another email on this, but unless someone says, "Hey, read my email," I'm not going to do that. Anything sent to me to aprildavispi@gmail or to the business address does remain private. Same with donations; they remain private too, unless someone says, "Hey, I want you to call this out," and then I will, but I won't identify the person unless they tell me to. What do you guys think? Do you think there's a possibility? Put yes or no in the comments. Thumbs up, thumbs down, however you want to put it. Do you think that this cult is involved in this? Especially with Luke being arrested in the past with Kayla Day, and they're saying that Kayla is part of all of this cult, and the connection between the bands and the promoter. Is it plausible? Yes, it's plausible, says Jet Set. Oh, welcome back in. Everybody let me know. Do you think that we're going down a really weird rabbit hole? I mean, I thought the whole Epstein possible connection was going down a rabbit hole. It never dawned on me that this could be further dark than what could already be. I mean, this is dark no matter what, because someone has been abducted from her home in the middle of the night and is probably no longer with us. And whether that was an intentional murder or it was a kidnapping gone wrong and they didn't bring her meds and she just couldn't handle the stress and she had a heart attack and died. Hey, Boston Bill. Welcome back in. What do you guys think? Do you think that this guy, this lifeboat channel, do you think that he's got anything? I know you guys probably haven't seen his videos yet, but I did watch part 2 last night. I had seen part 1, I think Sunday or Monday, because someone in the Sunday chat was like, "Hey, I want you to go check out these 2 videos, part 1 and part 2, and one's like an hour and one's like an hour and a half." So it took me a while to get it all watched, but I had to keep rewinding and playing parts over again because it was like, oh my, I didn't know this. Jet Set says, just play the numbers. It's going to be someone close to her. And since all these cult people are associated with Annie, then it could be possible. It could be possible. But that's a road that I never went down. Because right away, my PI spidey senses went, oh my God, somebody's targeting her because she is the mother of Savannah Guthrie. Because celebrities, people that are rich and famous, they get targeted on a daily basis, not a weekly basis or a yearly basis, but the real famous people, they get targeted daily. And they have security teams, not just physical security, but they have PIs that are always in the background doing all the advanced work on, all these harassers and stalkers and trying to keep ahead of it and, hoping like they don't all come out on the same day. But some of these people are serious. So it's like, wow, someone could be targeting Savannah and therefore they went after her mom because she was an easy mark. But then I started learning the dynamics of the family and the fact that she lives alone and she's 84. And now they're saying like she had some financial issues and that she was behind on her property taxes. And that kind of raises a red flag for me. I did report, and I say this over and over, I'm the only one that reported here on this case, period, that I know of that reported the second mortgage. But apparently someone said that she was behind on her property taxes and that information was confirmed. It wasn't confirmed by me because I haven't looked into her property. I don't even know who owns it. But if that's true, that raises red flags because, you know, why would she be behind on her property taxes? I'm sure she's got her Social Security. I think she taught at a university. She worked for many years. She retired. She probably has private retirement and Social Security. She may even get money from Savannah. Who knows? She's got this second loan. Why is she behind? Is there a memory issue? And she just, sometimes older people, they get behind on their mail. Like, what's the situation? Does somebody have her power of attorney? Is her house in her name? Is it in the family's name? Is it in a living trust? Have there been recent changes to a will or a life insurance policy or the ownership of the house or any type of family trust or living trust? These are all questions that we, the public, we're never going to know the answers to unless somebody gets busted for this and it goes to trial. And then all this stuff that we're asking right now, it all starts to come out and it all starts to unravel. Jet Set says, Rita says, I'm saying family. Oh, hey, Jennifer Hayes. I didn't see you come in, honey. How are you? Nice to see you, Jennifer. Jet Set says, yes, that's one of the three theories. It's someone in her inner circle or it's someone targeting her because of Savannah, or not very likely. It could be someone not associated with her in any way. Yeah, I think that's like a 1% chance that it's someone not associated with her in any way, especially with them targeting the house, surveilling ahead of time. This was very, very well planned. Jennifer Hayes says she has a rich daughter, and I'm sure Savannah would pay if she couldn't. Exactly, as far as her bills. But there's other YouTubers that are saying that it's true that she was behind on her property taxes. And then another channel was saying, how much do you think it would cost a year just to run that place? And one person said 50, another person said, I think that's too high, maybe 30K, because you got property taxes. There may or may not be HOA fees. There's upkeep. You got to keep that AC going out there in the desert. You got to keep the roof, cool. There could be underground sprinklers. There's a swimming pool. There's landscaping. There's housekeeping. Remember, she had a cane and she wasn't very mobile. So she probably has somebody that comes in and cleans and vacuums and does the laundry. And then you got to throw in just, repairs that come up. The washing machine breaks or the plumbing gets stuck, or there's a septic tank that has to be emptied every year. In some counties, you have to pay a permit every year saying that you cleaned your tank. There's like very specific laws about that so that it doesn't like leak into the soil and contaminate the town. There's fees for all of that. Everything is expensive, even when your house is paid for. I'm hoping she is still alive, says Jennifer Hayes, and returns to her beautiful house. I hope so too, but if she were, hypothetically, let's just say, because I don't think she's alive, but if she was, I would certainly never want to see her return to that house alone. Especially after what she's been through. I don't think she could live there alone. I don't know if she could live in that house, period. I mean, she's been there since 1975. I don't think I'd want to live there if something like that happened. Jet Set says, I think it's a local person because imagine being out there in a very dark area where street lights are not allowed in the desert where there's snakes, scorpions, and a lot of sharp cactus. Exactly. I think it's somebody local too, but I think that the perp or perpetrators, because I think it's more than one, I think whoever did the job is doing it for somebody else. There's a primary who's a ringleader to all this, and then there's at least one or two, probably males, I'm thinking males, that got into the house. Because even though they're not telling us the point of entry, I think the point of entry was in the back, and that person probably came in and opened the front door for the ski mask guy that was trying to disassemble the camera off the front door. Jennifer says, true, I don't know why she was alone already. Yeah, she was very independent. This is a woman who lost her husband when her kids were like around high school age. And she went, she managed to work and, raise them. And, they went to college and one is in the military. And, she sent them out into the world. And Savannah never even wanted to leave her. But the mother was like, no, you go to college and you go and do this. And then she got her first broadcasting job and she had to go to another town. And her mother was like, you go, because if you don't go, I haven't done my job. Like, she's a very strong woman. She's got some spice to her. And, maybe someone pushed her and asked her for money, or has been asking her for money. And she finally just got up the courage and said, no, and you're not going to push me around anymore. I mean, I hope it's not like an inner family situation. Jet Set says, is being referred to as the 2 or 3 knuckleheads waiters at the crime scene are the waiters, but the chef is the ringleader. Yeah, exactly. In the John Benet Ramsey case, there's a ringleader. And, when criminals hire criminals, things can go wrong. Look at the movie Fargo. You know how many people between Minnesota and North Dakota were killed in that movie? Because a husband decided to commit a crime against his wife for financial gain, and he had to hire bad guys to do the job. And, I lost it's like watching a Halloween movie. I lost track of the body count in that movie. Things do go wrong. Hi, Ryan. Thanks for coming in, Ryan Bean. Yeah, that movie's very, very disturbing, but that stuff really happens in real life sometimes, People hire criminals to do their dirty work, and things can go wrong quickly. I mean, who stays in a house for 40 plus minutes? Who leaves all the lights on? There's just, it's too dark, Of course, if family is involved, they could have given the perps a key, but then that would be too obvious if somebody used a key. Maybe all those ransom notes were sent as red herrings. They're all BS. But it is so weird now that this whole, cult picture or possibility is coming out. Like, that never even crossed my mind, and I'm a detective. But I don't know about the pagans and the Satanists. And, well, somebody came on here, I think it was ATC came on here and said, well, the Wiccans that they work with crystals and stuff, and they do have rituals, but they're pagans, but they're not Satanists. Like, I don't even know the difference. I just know that that's just creepy weird. Kelly Ray says, could have been breaking up cement to grab the safe. Yes, that could be why they carried into the house in their backpacks, or what they carried into the house. Oh, I think there is a safe in that house, and it was probably accessed. But yet the police, claim that nothing is missing. But, we're dealing with a police chief here who changes his story regularly. And the victim, we don't have her with us to be able to tell us or the police what was taken or missing. My kitty, she's meow meow. I heard today, says Kellyanne Sullivan, that I don't know if this is true, but they were talking about the possibility of her being wrapped up in something, but not good enough that the blood spots didn't show. Okay. I wondered too if she was wrapped and carried out over somebody's shoulder. Hey, you want to see everybody? This is Kelsa, the second love of my life, next to my bunny. Yeah, my bunny's number one and Kelsa's 1.5. Yeah. And after my broadcast last night, she got a wild hair up her you-know-what, and she knocked my elephant picture off the wall. Now, luckily, it went straight down, and it landed on the sofa, but scared the bejesus out of me. Then I screamed, "Oh, my God, what happened? What happened?" I wanted to make sure she wasn't struck in the face or the head. Then the bunny, when I said, "What happened?" she reacted and looked at me and said, "Oh, hell no, I'm running into my hide. Something's happening." So then I had to check out the cat, calm her down, calm the bunny down, put the picture back up on the wall, which is, it's barely hanging. You know, one little small earthquake and that thing is going to come right down. But luckily it wasn't heavy. So the cat is not injured and the bunny has psychologically recovered. But it was, can you imagine if that had happened on my live? That would have been pretty awesome if that had happened. I don't want it to happen again. Thank you, Rita. She is absolutely gorgeous. She is. It was just like, the bunny, she knows, she's very smart. And she knew the tone of my voice when I was like a little panicked, like, "Oh my God, what happened? What happened?" Oh God. And what had happened is before I went on the air, there was some kind of a net that came through the screen or something. Some like little flying something came in through the window and she was trying to catch it. And then she finally tuckered out and passed out during my live, but then she got up again and she's literally trying to climb the walls trying to get to this thing and I've got the broom out. I'm trying to beat it to death with the broom. And then somehow accidentally, because it's not hanging very well, she knocked it down. And she was scared. I was scared. Bunny was scared. But we've all recovered. And there's no damage as far as I can see. I mean, I got it from the Goodwill for like $20. It's not a big deal. But people comment on it, they go, "Oh, I like that picture." So I don't want a hole to be punched into it. Leanne says, "LOL." The Davis drama. Yeah, I know. We need a little laughs around here every now and then. Jet Set says, "Oh, hi, sweet kitty." And now she's so pissed because I kissed her that she's washing her face. She does not like that at all. None of my cats like that, The bunny wants kisses, but my cats are like, "Don't kiss me. I love you, but don't kiss me." So, if you guys want to go down that rabbit hole that we've talked about the last 3 videos, check out those 2 videos on the lifeboat. Keep in mind the guy is I guess he's a former convicted felon. He mentioned that he spent a lot of time in prison for drugs and bank robbery, but he looks at it from the aspect of a criminal mind, which is it's kind of neat because whenever I did like stalking cases, I'd always try to put myself into the mind of the person that was committing the stalking or the harassing or people committing fraud. Like, if I were them, what would be my next move? But for someone who's actually a reformed felon, like this guy on the lifeboat, it was kind of cool to hear his thoughts on this. And he, because of this one viewer on Sunday who said, "Hey, you should go check those 2 videos out. It's a 2-parter, but they're worth the watch." I have to agree, they were worth the watch because it enlightened me on a whole side to this that I never even crossed my mind. I was just like, "Hey, it's money or revenge." I still think it's just money or revenge, but if there's some sort of a cult involved, I mean, that's crazy. And so once again, that kind of puts Luke Daly back into this again. But once again, I'm not, I don't name a suspect. I lean towards certain people, for sure. Oh, hey, Sant. Too many coincidences already. Yeah, as a PI, I don't believe in coincidences. But here's more. February 1st is a weekend holiday. That's what I read. A pagan holiday called IMBOLC. And Nancy abducted on February 1st, approximately 2:30 p.m. during witching hour, midnight to 3 a.m. Wow. Oh my gosh. Sant, were you the person that told me to check out the lifeboat? Because I wrote it down on my notes, and I did see the second video last night. Someone from my Sunday live, my Sunday afternoon live, had mentioned that channel. And I do try to watch a little bit of everybody. Like this person, L Winner, who sent this comment, she sent me a link to her channel, and I'm gonna go check that out tonight. Oh, it was you, Sant. Well, thank you, because that kind of opened my mind. That's not something that I ever like had to deal with in my detective career. So, not only am I not an expert in that, but I just stay away from that kind of stuff. That's just like, ugh, scary. Yeah, you should watch it, Kelly. And I'm gonna watch. Let's see. Let me click it again. The channel is L Winner 1. Oh, she's got over 6.8 thousand subscribers. Well, she's doing better than I'm doing. And she's got a video that is, oh, it's a short video, 3.5 minutes or so, saying hope for Nancy. So I'll definitely watch that. And to the person that sent the email, thank you so much. I know I haven't got back to you yet, but life happens, and there's other things that I need to keep up with around here. I will respond to that. I print them all out. I've kept all the receipts for the donations. I'm up to $9 in channel donations now. Thank you so much. And I did get a little boost in hours overnight, but it was very small. It was only like 42 hours or something, and I'm like, what? Like, I'm trying so hard to get to 4,000 again. And I'm like, I think I'm at 24.99, that's a long ways away when every day they add the more, but they take off the last day. It's like, there's only so many times I can, go on here and talk about the same thing over and over and over again. But, I try to, break it up into different segments and different, like the last 3 nights we've talked about these 2 videos that I watched, and this whole other angle between some of the people that have already been detained in this situation. It's like, oh my God. Hi, Lorium. Hi, April. I wanted to send you an email. What's your email address? It is aprildavispi@gmail.com. That's the business email address. LM2523 says, oh my God. Oh, what, in reference to this fetish S cult? There's certain words we can't say here on YouTube. And also, there's been a few people that have come in with what's going on in the Middle East that have talked about our president, or what's going on over there, and we just don't talk politics here. So if anybody comes in here and gets political, they will be put in an immediate timeout. So just heads up, mods. You don't need to delete anybody, but you can put them in a 24-hour timeout, and I'll deal with it later. Yeah, there's things that YouTube just doesn't want us to talk about. So we have to be very careful about just the wording we say here, even regarding the Nancy Guthrie missing persons case. Everything is, as Sheriff Nanos would say, I like this word that he put out there, speculative. Everything is speculative, and everything is alleged or a possibility. I do have suspects in mind, but, I don't know 100% of what the police or the FBI knows. We know about 5 to 10% probably of the entire picture. So imagine a big 500-piece puzzle, okay? And you've only got 25 pieces of that puzzle. You're not going to be able to see the whole picture yet. Now, if somebody gets arrested, somebody goes down for this, and then they sing like a bird to roll over on the others in the group, and then more people get arrested, and this thing goes to trial, then, it's all going to come out. It's going to be like, O.J. Simpson trial part 2, It'll be big. It'll be huge. And we'll all be talking about this every day, and we'll be like just mind blown at everything that's involved in this. Hey, you have your kitty food right there. I think she wants to play. You need to play? Yeah. Oh, come here, baby. In case the other people didn't get to see you. I've never had a cat that has driven me this crazy, but I do love her so much. I just love her so much. I've got to stay alive because I have to take care of her. She's only 2 years old. She'll be 3 in the summer. Oh my gosh. Alaskan Assassin Adventure. Welcome in, buddy. How you doing? Hey, April, got your stickers. Got a pile of mail I got a mail call on. I still never heard the mail call, AAA, on the poker chip. And last time I asked you about it, you said it's around there somewhere. Do you need another poker chip, Alaskan? Because if you do, you've always been very good to me, Alaskan. You've always supported me. If you need another poker chip because it's lost or misplaced, I'll be happy to send it. Just let me know. Kelly Ray says, is she chunky or just fluffy? No, she's not chunky at all. She's actually really thin. She's only about 9 pounds. She's the smallest cat I've ever had. Boo Boo, I missed you. Well, we missed you, Boo Boo. Now she's going to tear up my sofa. My sofa is literally in shreds, and I'm sitting on a broken spring. I need a mattress for my bed. I need a replacement tie bed that I sleep on for my back. I need a new sofa, and the garbage can lid is broken, and the cat one time tried to jump into it, and it went up on her, and she is horrified. Every time I take the lid off to pull the bag out, she runs and she hides under the bed because she thinks that thing is alive. She even looks at it when she walks by. So I need a garbage can, a sofa, a mattress, and a tie bed just to get caught up. The only thing that's been replaced around here is this, the iPad. But I have to be on the payment plan with Amazon for this. Yeah, this would have never happened in my past when I had my 6-figure PI business. Let me tell you, the big C changes everything, people. I had to do I had to do a coupon run to CVS so I could, have a little makeup for the first time in 6 or 7 years. I still have to throw my old stuff away. It's just crazy what my life has turned into. But I'm here. So yeah, my Thai bed, as in Thailand. Oh, I love my Thai bed, but it has a hole on the side and foam is coming out of it. Oh, she is so sweet. She's very happy here. What's on the news? We're just following up on some of the things I talked about on Monday's show and Tuesday's show regarding the fetish S-cult angle of the Nancy Guthrie case. And it's all alleged, but you can watch it on the replay, and you'll, watch the last 2 lives and then watch this one, and it'll go over the whole dark mess. But yeah, I'm still kind of thrown over this Wiccan thing, and the fact that, one of the YouTubers read the note that Annie brought with the flowers when I knew Savannah was getting ready to exit and make her grand return to New York. She refers in her note to the scorched earth. And then apparently this fetish ball that happened 6 days after Nancy's disappearance was called Scorched. And this band that Tommaso was in, I don't know if the band is still active, this After Dark, supposedly they play at some of these balls, as does the Secret Mutilator. But the people that are reporting this, the only thing they can connect those 2 bands together is through their promoter in Tucson. But one's a Tucson band and one's an LA band. But they do have connections. And that's the guy that sent the text to Annie Tommaso's private cell number saying, hey, where's my Bitcoin? And then when he got picked up within like 24 hours, he went to the feds and said, yeah, I did it. I'm guilty. Hook me up. And he was bailed out a day later. So that's going to be interesting when that trial comes out. I don't know if they'll televise it because it's a federal trial. So it may be all secret. Boo Boo says they said a lot of cars were over there. A lot of cars were over where? And speaking of cars, I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. As far as I know, and I try to be transparent here, but as far as I know, Annie and Tommaso still don't have their car back because it's a piece of evidence in an active criminal investigation. And apparently Luke Daly got his car back within a few days. And it seems to be up for debate if Nancy's car has been returned. I don't think that it has. Let's see. Oh, JLR? Oh, okay. Oh, I have him in the background right now, but I have the volume turned down because I don't want to get a copyright. Yeah, he's still out there. Good for him. Gosh, I'm sure he's getting exhausted. Probably just wants to go home, but we don't have a resolution yet. Okay, Jetset says, I think I saw where someone had driven Nancy's car away from the residence today. I don't know. I think if they had returned her car, that would be in the news. I don't know, though. They took Nancy's car today by Annie's? I won't get a copyright strike for JLR. He tells everyone to go ahead and stream them. Well, you know what? I've already had problems with YouTube before, and that's why I'm not monetized right now. And I'm getting thousands of dollars in debt on this channel, so I'm not going to take a risk. I will respect him as I'm sure he respects others. Yeah, he does work hard. Yeah, like I said earlier, I wish I was 20 years, maybe 30 years younger, but then I wouldn't be able to stay there forever because my PI business is I started a month and a half before my 19th birthday, and for 35 years I worked full time, 60 to 80 hours a week until the health went askew. And I still technically have my business. I still have my license and my business license and my professional license, but I'm very limited. I can't really, go out there anymore. I wish I could just hop in the car and, I didn't have any responsibilities here or no medical issues, and I could just drive to Tucson just to feel closer to it. But I wouldn't want to get, hung up or hooked up for being a PI who crossed state lines. Oh, okay, I understand I don't know the rules of YouTube too much. But anyway, if you watch JR's live from today, you will see there was a lot of vehicle activity at Nancy's, okay? Yeah, I watch them a little bit, but I don't have time. I'm just too busy like trying to make my next videos, keep my channel going, and trying to get those watch hours. I'm at $24.99 again. Ugh. So hard. I've been very successful as a PI. In my industry, I'm very well known, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn here. I don't have a big ego at all, but I'm very successful. I was very successful in that line of work, and I never intended to get into that work. It just bizarrely happened. But I tell you right now, I'm not great at YouTube at all. I just don't get it. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I thought once I did get the monetization, I thought I was doing it right, but apparently not. And I don't want to scrap the channel and start over. I just don't. Maybe Tommaso is using the car since their car is still with the police. Possible. Hello, Jay. Welcome in. Now, I'm already 50 minutes into this, Jay, so you might want to watch the replay when this is done. We just went over the weird fetish escal angle again. I watched part 2 of that video that Sant had referred to me to on Sunday, and it's just super dark. And then someone sent me an email, a separate person, L Winner one sent me an email, and I can't read her email, but she sent me a comment on my YouTube channel on one of the former videos, and so I read that out loud, and she's kind of like leaning in the same direction. So I don't know. Oh my God, I still think it's something connected to Savannah, or it's somebody connected close to her. I hope it has nothing to do with these dark cults that have these fetish balls. I mean, I've never heard of that before. Like, it's just gross. Boo Boo says, I still think it was for a property insurance policy savings account. Very possible. I'd love to know everybody's bank accounts. I want to know why there was a second mortgage. I want to know why Nancy was behind on property taxes, which, that's not been confirmed by me, but others have said it's confirmed. I don't know that it's confirmed because I haven't looked. Why was she having money issues, if that's even true? How did Annie and Tommaso put the down payment on a house that's a very expensive home on a 6th grade science teacher's salary when, his wife is allegedly a poet? Does she make any money as a poet? Um, is it pronounced Wiccans? Does that mean that she's a witch? Like, I mean, I'm asking you guys, like, are they pagans? I mean, this did happen on full moon. That's all I can say. Like, could some really dark stuff be involved in this? Like, oh my God. I don't know if I even want to know. I mean, I want to know like what happened to her, and I want her to be found, and I want there to be closure for the family, but because I'm a detective, Ogie. That's what I do. Why do you still feel the need to know so much? We want to know what happened to this woman. We want this woman found, as does the rest of the country. Everybody's behind this. Like, let's find Nancy. And you know what? I have made other videos about other missing people. Just go to my true crime playlist. I made a video yesterday, actually, about Joe Pickler. Boo Boo says maybe somebody was hired to do it. Oh, I think so. This is not a one-man operation. Kelly says there are many different branches like any other religion. Okay. Yeah, I'm just not familiar with all of that. Jay says, why would Nancy be behind on bills? I don't know. And I don't know if that's true, but someone said that she was behind on her property taxes, and another YouTube channel said that they confirmed it. But, I didn't confirm it. I'm just reporting what I've heard, that allegedly she was behind on her property taxes. Ogie says, Nancy on the back burner by now. Well, not for me. Not for everybody that's here. Not for the thousands of people. I've had like 60,000 views on this, so those people are not on the back burner. Kelly says, same reason we can be behind in our bills. Yeah, I think that house would be a very expensive house just for the taxes and for the upkeep. It's a large property. Yeah, there's a lot of other things happening that don't get in the news. Absolutely. There's people that have come on here that have talked about cases that are in other cities. I had somebody from South Carolina came in and talked about some big case, and we're not hearing about that at all in California. I'm just like, what? Never heard of that person. It's just gotten out there on the internet on some of these YouTube channels that she was behind, and someone said it was confirmed, but I didn't confirm it. I have not done a title search on the house, or have I inquired with the property tax place. I'm not investigating the case. Jay says most of us don't have wealthy children. But you know what? She does have a wealthy child, but I don't, knowing the type of person that she is and her independence and her ability to raise her kids on her own and support them without the help of her deceased husband, I don't think she would be the type that would just pick up the phone and say, "Ringy dingy dingy, Savannah, send me some money." I think she's too proud. She would handle things on her own. Um, ooh, ooh, oh, he says, April, don't you feel she made her own grave? Uh, Not necessarily at all. No, I think she's a victim. Jet set. I'm old and retired, and I'm going to follow this until someone's arrested and Miss Nancy is found. Absolutely. I haven't given up on John Benet Ramsey, and she's dead and buried. I'll never give up on that. Desane. Oh, welcome back, Desane. Hello, how are you? Yeah, I'm going to follow this. And, when somebody is arrested, and I think somebody will be eventually, I'm going to follow it, and I'm going to continue to cover this, especially when it goes to trial, if there is a trial. I want to see this go to trial. And everybody here, even the people that could be arrested in the future, they're all innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Now, somebody could be arrested and just plead out and say, you know what, we're not even going to bother with it because there's so much evidence that I'm just going to plead guilty and, for a lesser sentence, or they're going to roll on somebody and someone's going to walk or get less time. Hi, Jolene Jacobs. Where are you coming in from? Ogie says, victim, she's not. I'm not a detective, but I can tell you she was not a victim. I have to disagree with you, Ogie, but you are entitled to your opinion. Yeah, she didn't just walk out of that house. Somebody came in and abducted her. Pablo, am I guilty or not? For what? Jolene says, you're coming in from Kentucky. Welcome in, Kentucky. I've been to Kentucky several times as a child. Very beautiful state. I know, Jay, right? Yeah, I think the whole family are victims here. This is terrible. Can you imagine someone coming in and taking your mother in the middle of the night and you never see her again and you don't know if she's dead or alive or if she's suffering or, she's been thrown in a lake or thrown off a bridge or is buried out in the desert or, she doesn't have her meds. The guy either had a gun or a taser and, there's probably more than one and put into a strange vehicle and driven away and never to be seen or heard from again. Like, how awful. Yeah, it's devastating, isn't it, Jay? And I don't even know this woman. I don't know anybody in the Guthrie family. And in my career, I've met a lot of celebrities, even several very famous broadcasters, some of which have been good friends. But I don't know Savannah Guthrie. Boo Boo says, because they spent a lot of law on this case. There are a lot of people working in law enforcement, but not as many as there were. Because there are other crimes that they have to investigate in Pima County. And the FBI, they also have other cases. But they still have quite a few people in their Phoenix office working on videos and things like that. Have I ever been hit by a taser? No. Ouch, that alone could cause her to have a heart attack. Yes, I've had cases where people were hit by tasers by police departments and they died. It would be a horror. I don't know if I could survive it with my bad heart. I probably wouldn't. Deanna, welcome in. Like, lived to 84 years. And to be taken out like this is so sad. I know. After all the adversity in her life and all the hard work that she's done, and she needs to be able to enjoy her golden years with her friends, and then this happens. It's just, and if there's no end to this, there's no closure. It's going to affect, the living, because they're always going to wonder what happened to their mother or their grandmother. Where are you coming in from, Deanna? Kelly Race is not a criminal. My ex was a police officer. In regards to what, not a criminal? Oh, I didn't know you had an ex that was a police officer. Oh, you're in California, like me, Deanna. I'm in Los Angeles. Because I'm a private detective. I am not a police detective. And we're not required to go through being tasered. We are civilians. Kelly says, you've been tased? And pepper sprayed. I'm an idiot. I wouldn't do that either. Oh, you're in Coalinga. No, I'm not a police officer. I am a licensed private investigator. Obviously, you haven't been following this, but feel free to go to my channel, go to the main page, and go to the play list, and you can click True Crime. I've got so many videos on Nancy that I may have to start like an additional playlist that just is called Nancy Guthrie. What do you think? Should I do a Nancy Guthrie playlist? I mean, she's already like, her videos or videos regarding her are under my news tab, and they're under my true crime tab. But I might have to start a separate tab just for her. No, you just haven't been watching, Hoagie. We've already talked about that in a lot of videos about my background. Leanne, pepper spray, but no taser. They were just coming out and getting popular. Yeah, I remember the little handheld tasers where you would just push a button and it would go click, 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 and you have to put the two contacts into the person. But now they have tasers that actually look like Glocks, and that gun that's in the holster that doesn't fit the holster, because that looks like a revolver holster, but yet the gun that may have been in there could be a semi-automatic. That could also be one of those taser guns that resembles a Glock, and you just pull it out and bang, and then it shoots like a string or two strings, and they've got hooks on the end of them, and so you literally shoot it like a gun, and then it hooks into the skin, and it kills people. Boo Boo says, I used to watch Cold Case Files and those shows. Yes, on the playlist. Yeah, I've been making videos every day since February the 2nd, but I missed the 6th for my kidney surgery, and then I missed Monday a week ago Monday, like 10 days ago, when I was in the hospital. But there's been a couple days where I've had to go on twice, or I'll have a live and I'll have a short too. So I've got quite a bit on it. But you can always just click True Crime or News. So far I have this set up in 2 playlists, but I could always make a separate one. But the channel's not just about Nancy Guthrie, and it's not just about true crime. I do all kinds of videos. So there's, as I say in my bio at the beginning on the main channel page, there's something here for everybody. Jet Set says, that's very possible because it seems so odd not to have a proper holster for a firearm. It does seem odd. And who goes in there and grabs a palm full of plants with gloves that are so big that they almost look like they're wearing double gloves? They almost look like boxing gloves, which they weren't, but I just, just in a laughing kind of LOL way, say, oh, the guy was wearing boxing gloves. And you smear the plants all over Nobody does that. Now, I've heard that the gangs will often carry their weapons that way, but I don't see that in LA. And I've dealt with, the gangs my whole career when I'm out in the gangbanger neighborhoods, which are everywhere. We have more gang members in LA than most cities have population. Oh, Jay said taser would kill me too. High blood pressure and many, many strokes. Yeah, I think I would be done. What a terrible way to go. No, it's okay. Leanne, Mint Taser, sorry, phone keeps posting when I'm not done. Okay, I know that feeling when you try to type in these chats. Yeah, that'd be a horrible way to go. And I'm like, was that a gun or was that a taser? But it looks like it's a revolver holster. And why carry it in the front like that and be seen? Like, because I mean business, so here's my big gun. That's just hokey. A true criminal will know how to carry a gun. He could have just had a shoulder holster like we used to, wear at the studios. And by the way, even though I've not been trained by the police academy for the guy that was in here calling me out here, I have been trained by LAPD for firearms. Arlene, I believe it started out. You believe it started out what? And welcome in, Arlene. Eric, that's Burbank Bob Hope going over, planes going over from Burbank Bob Hope. Jet Set. That plant is a lantana and has a very strong stem, and a piece of it was still stuck on the mount, and I believe it was used to try to pry it from the housing. I think so too. And here's what's interesting. Remember the house was unsecured by the cops just 20 hours later because Bananos doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And apparently those little pieces of the plant and the little stems were still on the doormat, okay, with the blood droplets all over the place, with the pizza guys, the Amazon guy, the postal service, the news, Brian It and JLR, the neighbors, the looky-loos that have come from all over the world. Everybody was at that door. And the mat and the pieces of the flowers apparently were not all taken into evidence for DNA. I mean, I can't make this up. That stuff was left behind. The blood is still there. Parts of the plants are still there. The doormat was not taken. Now, has it been taken since by the FBI? I don't know. But it's just been left there. Kelly Ray says, in California, are police required to have the first shot in their service weapon as a blank? I've never heard of that. Because I was trained by LAPD instructors, and I was trained that you don't shoot to wound or to warn, you shoot to kill. And you could still get shot too, and then it's a matter of who will bleed to death first. So you can't even hesitate. And I used to train constantly because when I did guard work at, celebrities' private homes or at studios doing television shows, and I had to carry concealed on private property with all the proper permits, like you have to react like this or you're dead. So I don't think that that's a rule in California. I've never heard of that. Kathy says, now here comes the next one. Could FedEx and UPS be a little early tonight? That one sounds low and heavy. It's either FedEx to Memphis or it's UPS to Louisville. They're usually right behind each other. Boo Boo says, I think her body was taken to be disappear, not for ransom. Very possible. I have a problem with the kidnapping theory, Boo Boo. Leanne says, I think it was a taser. Yeah, look at my big gun. That's why I keep saying it was probably some punks that heard this old lady is rich. However, they had no clue what they were getting into. Could be. Jet Set, agree. It's uncomfortable. They did not take the mat and the plant pieces left on it. I know. Like, and I just found this out, I think, within the last couple days. Like, they didn't take the doormat? Are you effing kidding me? When the guy's been leaning over in the bushes and he's rubbing stuff all over the camera and it's falling down on the mat and it's getting mixed in with the blood? Well, actually, that was before the blood. Excuse me. But when she was brought out, I think through the front door, either walked out or carried out, and I think she was still alive at that time because when her pacemaker stopped syncing, her heart was still beating. So 99.9% chance she was obviously alive when she was either walked or carried out. And then the blood dropped onto some of those pieces of plant. And it's left there. And 20 hours later, even before the FBI is called in, the scene is released. Like, whoever gets caught from this, don't plead, a-hole. Go to trial. Get a good defense attorney. Get a big, one of those New York or LA criminal defense attorneys to come in, because you're going to be able to dispute a lot of the evidence in this thing. And I hope somebody, gets found guilty and they're in for the rest of their lives. Jet Set says unconscionable, not uncomfortable. What did I miss? Oh, agree. It's unconscionable. They did not take the mat and the plant pieces left on it. Leanne says scary. I can understand. Okay, Jet Set. I can understand Nanos maybe not taking it, but when the FBI didn't take it, oh Lord. Well, I used to work for a guy that was ex-CIA, and he never said that he was, but he was, because of something that we were later involved in. And it was like, oh boy. And he used to call them the Fat Boys Institute. Yeah, I do need to hydrate. I've got my Gatorade Zero and my A&W Zero in front of me. Yeah, especially with that bone pill. Well, hopefully by tomorrow I feel better from that. But I'm still finishing up those antibiotics. And those just, ugh. And then next week, it's back to the cardiologist to, do a surgical post-op visit and to try to figure out when my blood pressure is going to, go back to normal. Mary Lou Tibbs, hello from Tennessee. You're amazing. I just ran across your page. I'm going something to our page and start from day one on Nancy. Thank you. Yeah, I just go to the True Crime tab, the playlist, or news playlist. And as I said earlier, I might make another playlist that just says Nancy Guthrie because there's so many videos. But, it's really worth starting from day one and just put everything on loop and keep going. Thanks for reminding me, Kelly. I don't have my other two mods in here to remind me of that. And it's the people that really care for me that tell me that. Like, did you hydrate today? My bestie, whenever she talks to me on the phone, she's like, what did you eat? And she always brings food over. Well, welcome, Tennessee. I hope you're subscribed, and I hope you hit that bell icon. And I hope you guys are just binge watching these videos because I'm only at $24.99 since I lost the monetization, and I stupidly, not knowing which video they had a problem with because they wouldn't tell me, I went delete, 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 and my watch hours went shoo. And had I not done that and I had just privatized those videos, I would have still had my watch hours and I would have been able to reapply 90 days later and everything would have been fine. So I really shot myself in the foot. But, I'm a very good detective, but I suck at YouTube. So I got to beg all of you just to, keep watching. And if there's anything private you want to tell me, you can always email me at aprildavispi@gmail.com, or you can always send something to the business mailing address in Studio City. Does anybody have anything else? Is there anything that we didn't cover? I know there wasn't a lot to talk about today, but I did want to report that I saw the part 2 on the lifeboat regarding the fetish cult. And then I wanted to read L Winter One's her public message that she commented on one of my videos. Yeah, YouTube is tough now. A lot of people, absolutely. But I made it one time before, so I hardly made any money during that time. I could make thousands on this, and I would just be catching up. I would just be paying myself back, but I need to get there somehow. And this past week or 10 days, I've had $9 in donations. You know, the other night somebody came in and was asking me about all the links and how to find them, and but nothing came out of it. Like, okay, you don't, you know, your views are just enough. I'm just thankful that you're here. Oh, we can't talk about that, Boo Boo. I talked about that earlier, that we're not going to talk politics in here. Kelly Ray says, living the big life. I know. But I appreciate it. Especially since I had the accident last week where the camera flipped over because I was doing it from my desk and my right leg got tangled up in the cords. And then the camera smashed on the floor and the transmitter or the receiver from the mics got damaged, and the even the adapter got damaged, and what a crap show. And I still need to replace the ring light that's put together with shipping tape. And the cords even got holes in it from my rabbit, not the current rabbit, but the rabbit before, and I've just used electrical tape. So it's electrical tape together, the wiring, and the lamp itself where the light comes on is all, crappy looking, full of shipping tape. So that's got to be the next thing. And I still need the desktop mic replaced, and I need to upgrade the Wi-Fi mics. I need to get a Rode mic, as in RODE, not road like Avenue Road. A long list of things to do just to keep it going. And a new tripod. I need a more expensive tripod for when I'm outside and I'm standing, because to move the camera around, it's not sitting on like the ball bearing. It's not like sitting in a gel cap where it'll move smoothly. It's too herky jerky. So gotta invest some more money. Jay says, gotta go, falling asleep early, sitting here watching. Well, thanks for coming, Jay. I appreciate you. Thanks for everybody that's been binge watching. I know Leanne and Kelly and Donna, to name a few, means so much. I'm going to watch Elle Winter's video. She sent me a link to her channel. I'm going to watch that video tonight. And hopefully something big is going to break on this case soon. I want Nancy to be found. I don't want to be here for the rest of my life every day going, hey, let's find Nancy Guthrie. I want her to be found. I do think she's already passed away, but I still want her to be found. And I want her, if she is not with us, I want her remains to be handled with dignity. And I want her to have a proper send-off. I don't want this just to be like left open and nobody knows what happened or where she is. That's my worst fear right now, that the longer this goes, that she may never be found. She needs to be found, and the people involved need to be held responsible. And if anybody out there that's involved, is watching this, be a man up and do the right thing. If anybody has any tips, call 1-800 call FBI. That's 1-800 call FBI. You can also call the Pima County Sheriff's Department in Tucson, Arizona. Lobby noise. There's got to be somebody out there that knows the guy at the front door. I do believe there's somebody that recognizes him. There's something about the eyes or the clothes or the hokey holster, the funky gloves. There's somebody who knows something. I wish I did, because you know what? I need the money. I'm not active anymore, hardly, in my business because of my disabilities. And boy, if I knew anything, I would, I'm a lifelong crime fighter. I've dedicated my whole adult life to this. Why do people stand outside my door? Oh my God. I want to go smack them. Boo Boo says, that's what I was saying. I didn't want to be graphic about it. Jane says, amen. Kelly, I'm going to head out. If I can stay awake long enough, we'll watch the lifeboat, dude. Yeah, I'm watching as many people as I can just to learn more. Because in this business, you're always learning. But I do think we know a very small piece of the puzzle. Like I said earlier, imagine this case is a puzzle and it's 50 pieces or 500 pieces, but we only have less than 10% of the pieces. 10% would be 50, 5% would be 25. Can you imagine putting together, there's the next one, taken off from Bob Hope. Can you imagine you were doing a 500-piece puzzle and you only had 25 to 50 pieces? You wouldn't get anywhere. And that's what the public has. We have maybe 5 to 10% of the entire story of what's going on here. So this could be completely something that none of us have even thought about yet because we don't know the details. Yeah, have a good one, Kelly. Give the fur babies a kiss. Deanna says, yes, I would turn them in money or no money. It's just horrible to do that to someone. Absolutely. So would I. I wish I knew. I wish I knew. I wish there was, somebody would, send me a tip and I'd be happy to call it in. Jetsef, one of them's got to roll over on the other sooner or later. Yes. When they upped the reward and offered the queen for a day, I thought someone would come forward. I thought it should have been higher to begin with, and a lot of people are giving Savannah a hard time saying, how dare you for not putting up that money to begin with. But I think she wanted to, and the police told her don't do it because it'll clog up the tip lines. And they already had like 30,000 tips within the first like week or so. Like, don't offer a big amount. But, 6 weeks later, where has it gotten them? I think that money should have been out there immediately. Bring in more manpower. Do whatever you have to do. Hire people to run a call center. Do whatever you have to do. Money speaks. Boo Boo says this happens, or it happens all the time, especially with family. Deanna, me too. Well, thanks for coming in, everybody. I hope you guys are all subscribed. Hit that thumbs up button for me if you can. It helps a lot. I hope you guys have the bell icon pressed. Press all on the bell icon. Then you'll be notified anytime I go live or anytime I post a video. You can always go to the main channel page and look at the playlist, and you can click news or true crime. I may start a third playlist that's just called Nancy Guthrie. I have videos on all other subjects. I've got something for everybody. I got to get those watch hours back to 4,000 so I can try to reapply. So everybody that's been binge watching, I can't thank you enough. I tried to mention the names before. I know it's Kelly and Leanne and Donna. I'm sure I'm missing somebody here, but just thank you so much. Oh, Rita. Good night, Rita. Yeah, you've been watching a lot too, Rita. I appreciate that. Oh, hello, Mary Lou Tibbs. I'm just getting ready to go off the air here, Mary Lou, so you'll have to watch this on the playback. Please note that the chat itself, it takes YouTube at least 24 to 48 hours to repost the chat, but at least you can watch the video portion and you can always place a comment in the comment section. Leanne says, good night, April. Get some rest. I have sleep issues too, so I'll watch when I can't sleep. That's what I do. I'm up all night long watching this stuff. And I realize, like, oh my God, the sun's coming up. Like, I got to go to bed. So thanks for everybody to come in. You guys, you're my YouTube family. You mean the world to me. And, thank you, Mary Lou. Well, for now, this is it. Love you all. Have a good evening.